In 1483, two young princes entered one of the most heavily guarded buildings in England. They were heirs to the throne, royal children at the center of a powerful kingdom. Then suddenly, they vanished. No official explanation. No confirmed graves. No public investigation. The boys were simply never seen alive again. Almost immediately, rumors spread across England. Murder. Betrayal. Conspiracy. But the most disturbing part of the story wouldn't emerge until centuries later, when workers inside the Tower of London uncovered a discovery that may have revealed what happened to the missing princes. Nearly 200 years after the boys disappeared, a hidden box containing the remains of two children was discovered inside the tower. And ever since that discovery, historians have been asking whether they accidentally found the missing princes. The mystery began after the death of King Edward IV in 1483. His eldest son, 12-year-old Edward, was next in line to become king. His younger brother Richard stood beside him. Together, the two boys represented the future of England. As preparations for Edward's coronation began, the princes were moved into the Tower of London. Today, the tower is known as a prison. But in the 1400s, it also served as a royal residence where monarchs often stayed before their coronation. At first, nothing seemed unusual. But behind palace walls, a political struggle for power was already unfolding. And at the center of it stood the boys' uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Richard was one of the most powerful men in England. A respected military commander. A trusted member of the royal family. And after the king's death, he was appointed protector of the kingdom until young Edward came of age. But within weeks, everything changed. Richard made a shocking claim. He declared that the princes were illegitimate. If true, they had no legal right to inherit the throne. The announcement stunned the kingdom. Then Richard took the crown for himself, becoming King Richard III. Meanwhile, the princes remained inside the tower. And that's when the mystery truly began. At first, witnesses occasionally reported seeing the boys inside the tower grounds. Some saw them walking through courtyards. Others reported seeing them looking out from windows. Then the sightings became less frequent. And less frequent. Until one day, they stopped completely. Weeks passed. Then months. But no explanation was ever given. The future King of England and his younger brother had seemingly disappeared behind the tower walls. Rumors spread rapidly across the kingdom. Many believed the boys had been murdered. And suspicion immediately fell upon Richard III. After all, he controlled the tower. He controlled the government. And he benefited more than anyone from the prince's disappearance. But despite centuries of investigation, no document has ever been found proving what happened to them. Only questions. And one of history's most enduring mysteries. Then nearly 200 years later, the mystery took an unexpected turn. In 1674, workers renovating part of the Tower of London made a disturbing discovery. Buried beneath a staircase, they uncovered a wooden box. Inside were the skeletal remains of two children. The discovery shocked England. Almost immediately, many believed the bones belonged to the missing princes. After all, two royal boys had vanished inside the tower. And now two child skeletons had been found hidden within its walls. For many people, the mystery seemed solved. But there was a problem. no one could prove who the children actually were. The remains were later placed inside Westminster Abbey with royal honors. Yet the most important question remained unanswered: had historians finally found the missing princes, or were the bones someone else's entirely? As the mystery grew, historians focused on one question: who benefited from the princes disappearing? The most obvious suspect was Richard III. He controlled the tower. He took the throne. And the princes vanished while under his protection. Many historians believe he had both the motive and the opportunity. But over time other suspects emerged. Some researchers pointed toward Henry Tudor, the man who would later defeat Richard III and become King Henry VII. If the princes were still alive, they could have threatened his claim to the throne as well. Then another possibility appeared. What if powerful nobles acted on their own? What if someone removed the princes without direct orders from either king? The deeper historians investigated, the more complicated the mystery became. Every theory seemed possible, yet none could be proven. More than 500 years later, the fate of the princes is still being debated. Modern historians continue examining royal records, eyewitness accounts, and political documents, searching for answers. And one question continues dividing experts: were the skeletons discovered in the tower actually the missing princes? Several researchers have called for modern DNA testing to finally identify the remains. But no examination has ever produced a definitive answer. At the same time, some historians argue Richard III may have been unfairly blamed. After his death, the Tudor dynasty controlled England. And the Tudors had every reason to portray Richard as a ruthless villain. If history was written by the victors, could the true story have been altered centuries ago? And if that's the case, the real fate of the princes may be even harder to uncover than anyone imagined. Today, the princes in the tower remain one of history's most famous unsolved mysteries. Not because two children disappeared, but because they disappeared from one of the most secure locations in England. Surrounded by guards, protected by the crown, at the center of royal power itself. And yet, more than 500 years later, nobody can say with certainty what happened to them. Maybe they were secretly murdered to secure a throne. Maybe they died in secret and their fate was hidden from the public. Or maybe history blamed the wrong person entirely. But perhaps the most disturbing possibility is this: the truth may have been buried so completely that it can never be recovered. The witnesses are gone. The records are incomplete. And the people who knew what happened died centuries ago. Which means one of the most important crimes in English history may never be solved. The princes in the tower remain one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. More than 500 years later, nobody knows exactly what happened to the two young heirs who vanished inside the Tower of London. But what do you think? Were the princes murdered to secure the throne, or has history blamed the wrong person all along? Let me know your theory in the comments. And subscribe for more historical mysteries, lost civilizations, unexplained events, and dark stories hidden within history.